In previous class, we discussed about the polymorphism, and we have covered the what is method overloading. So we are going to discuss a couple of scenarios for method overloading. So that scenarios we will going to cover now. So those scenarios are uh, a couple of things that we will face in interviews, so that if I cover those things, so you will able to answer in interview actually. So that's what agenda. So we will cover the couple of questions which will be asking on interviews actually. Okay. So hope you remember this definition. What is a method overloading? A method overloading basically same functionality means same method name with a different parameters and different implementation. That is called the method overloading, right? So here my question is, okay, same functionality is fine. We created the same method and we have implemented and we calling based upon the different parameters. Perfectly all right. So now, as we discussed earlier, main is also one of the method. Main is also one of the method. Can we overload the main method? Very important question. Can we overload the main method? We'll see what will happen when we try to overload the main method. I'm writing 2 meters. Here I am removing this. Let's see what is happening. Here you are calling something. Let me write some method here and we'll see what is happening. Public void add system.out.println. Hello. And demo object equals to new demo. And object dot add. And same thing I'm writing here. And I'm running and we'll see what is happening. So this hello has been printed only once and another time it was not printed. See, what we have understand here is we can write or we can have the main method in a class more than one time. So here we are passing the input parameter string args, and the second one is we are passing as the only main method. To make sure what main method is exactly executing, let me print some more content here so that we will be getting more clarity which one is exactly printing, with main method, which main method is exactly printing it, right? So here if you see the method name is main, here it is main and it is main, and you can overload the main method. You can write the multiple main methods where you are passing the string args. By default, the string args, whatever the content that you are writing, that main method will be executed. So what will happen if you are passing the same arguments, right? If you are passing the same arguments for a main method, it will be compilation error and we cannot do it. So what we have understand here is basically when we wanted to, overload the main method, we have to change the inline arguments where we are passing the string or string array, that is arguments, so that we are passing when we are passing that, and for another method we are not passing any parameters. So the parameters which you are not passing, that is not executed, but still we achieved the method overloading. So what method overloading is called? Method overloading is called same method name, different parameters, implementation different. When we try to pass the same arguments, then it is giving the compile time error that we cannot achieve with the main method. The first important question was done. And second important question is, can we overload the static method? Very important question. Can we overload the static method? Right? So we'll start with the static method. This is public static add and public static void add index system.out.println. Right. Now you can see what is happened. So I have written static methods and method names are same and the implementations are different and inline parameters are different. And if I run this and we'll see what will happen, right? So if I wanted to call int of 1, so this will be executing by second one. So what we have understood here is static methods can be overloaded. So what we have understood, static methods can be overloaded. There is couple of methods, non-abstract methods, abstract methods that I will going to cover the moment we discussed about the abstraction, because now you don't know what is abstract method, right? So we have covered one more scenario. Now let me try to create one more scenario, final. So what is happening here? I have created the final methods. The first one is public final void add, and second one is public final void add. So here, what I'm trying to do, demo object equals to new demo, right? And object dot, I'm trying to call add, where I'm passing 10, and let me see what will happen. Here is one more important question. Can we overload the final methods? Right? Can we overload the final methods? Yes, we can do it. So we have covered 3 different scenarios. One is a main method. We can overload it if we change the arguments. We can overload the static methods. We can overload the final methods. So these are the couple of scenarios that we have to understand. And another thing is, what will happen if the inline parameters are matched? Then it will give the compile time error. When we write this method names as same name, then something should be different in inline parameters. Sometimes what people will think here in why I am writing, both variable names are different, right? Why we are not able to achieve the method overloading? Boss, until we run this program, we don't know what x value is or what y value is. So variable will holds the value. Data type is the key parameter or predefined Java data types, where is owning set of instructions to make sure what I wanted to do. So for example, public having the specific nature, right? Final having the specific nature, void having the specific nature. But thing is, These are the variables. These variables will not be matters. So here, if you are changing the variables, that is not a matter. So here, data type is the predefined library in Java that will decide whether you are passing the same parameters or not. Data type should be different. Variable you are changing, and you are telling that I am changing the variable different parameter, why it is not accepted. We cannot consider variable as a inline parameter. So this is something which will hold the value, whatever value that we are sending from here, that value will be holded by X, right? What parameter we have to pass, that will be decided by the this data type. If I am passing this string, that is decided by the this primitive data type, primitive predefined class in Java, that will decide what you are sending, which method has to be executed. So this is maximum scenarios that they will ask in interviews related to method overloading. So we will move back to the method overriding, what method overriding will do, and how we can achieve the method overriding, right? The first thing is method overriding. So method overriding is nothing but this is one kind of polymorphism, means same function name and will have the different implementation, right? What method overriding will do first? So method overriding is nothing but it is feature or principle from the polymorphism, because it so that it is inheriting the features of polymorphism. What inheritance, like what polymorphism is called? Basically polymorphism will have same function with multiple implementation. So this is belongs to that family. So method overriding also same set of nature. The nature is we have the same method, we have the same method name and same inline parameters and different implementation, right? Now how we will achieve the method overriding? So first thing, to achieve the method overriding, we should have the two classes. First, we should have the two classes to achieve the method overriding. To achieve method overriding, we should have the two classes. In a single class, we cannot achieve. First thing. Second thing is, this can be done like two different ways. As I told you, one is compile time polymorphism and another one is runtime polymorphism. The behavior that we should be able to understand during the runtime and compile time. So let me write one method. So this is the best example for achieving the compile time polymorphism. I can tell you why and how. So before that, we will cover the scenario of method overriding. So let me write one specific method, public void, okay, get info is the free defined method. It is a defined method, user defined methods. Okay, so we have created one method, public void get info. Get info is the method that we have created in this class, right? So let me create a new one. As we discussed, it can be achieved within the two classes, right? Let me create one more class, new class, deep, right? Here is the new class deep. First one is demo and another one is deep. Now this class is extends the demo. It is called what? Inheritance. And here what I'm doing, what are the values that I'm getting here? System.out.println name Nagesh. Suppose this method is returning this, and we will have the same method, and implementation is different. Parameters also same. Here, if you see, all right. So here add method, and here it is giving Nagesh and software engineer. So why I have added some more content, I will explain. The first thing I wanted to explain you is we have same method and same inline parameters, different implementation, and we can be achieved within the two classes. As discussed, we have demo class and we have deep class. And if you see, this is public void get info, inline parameters are 0. Here public void get info, inline parameters are 0. Here implementation is different. This content whatever there inside that method, as of now I'm adding this sysout statement. Going forward we will have the number of statements execution that we will write it, and we will see how that things will be achieved. First we are trying to understand the concept of what is overriding, right? So implementation here, right? So implementation here, if you see the implementation, this is something we have added name Nagesh and software engineer, and demo here we have some implementation, and where we don't have the specific implementation as which we did in the deep class. Here implementation is different and here implementation is different. This is the best example for overwriting. So what will happen if I'm writing, right? So for this one, what I will do, first I will try to show you something. All right. So time being, I am deleting to show you how method overriding can be achieved. I am creating the object for deep class. Deep object equals to new deep. Okay, and object dot get info I am calling here. I am executing now. Run as Java application. See what is printing. Name Nagesh is printing, right? So here I am not going to change anything. Whatever content which I have written in main method, I am not going to change anything. I wanted to achieve method overriding. To achieve that, I will have the same method name and same inline parameter, different implementation I have added here. Right? I have added some content here, and I'm not changing anything in a main, same object, same thing. And here I'm adding software engineer or something, and XX and Y chat company. Right now, when I run this, I'm not changing anything inside this main method. Let me run this and we'll see what will happen. It will print the content which is present in this class. What happened? It is overridden with existing one, and it is calling the implementation which you have implemented newly. Earlier this implementation is not there. Now this implementation is there. Why we need to add this implementation here, right? I will tell you. So if there is a new thing that we wanted to introduce or some more features that we have to add in this specific functionality, we have to override with the existing functionality. Then priority will be whatever that you are writing with a new one. So that will be added. So let me give you some real-time scenario when I will go for this specific method overriding concept. When they will ask you in interviews, when you have to use this method overriding concept, you should have some understanding of some business advantage, where to use and how to use. So let me tell you one scenario. I need to get the Aadhaar card details. Okay. So I am passing the inline parameters as Aadhaar card input parameter, int Aadhaar or long Aadhaar, whatever it may be. Aadhaar card. Now here you are passing the int Aadhaar. Okay. Here it is printing the name and father name and father name and address. Okay. Now, so whomever took the Aadhaar card, very initial stage, if you see their Aadhaar card, hardly they will have the name and father name and address. So that method name is get Aadhaar details. Get Aadhaar details. Okay, get Aadhaar details is the name. Okay, now I am overriding with the same method and that will not call now. See why it will not call? Because here we have the more info. If you see the other now, whatever the details that you are getting more. What is the details? You are getting the address, you are getting or you are adding the mobile number with that, and you have linked in that mobile number, you have mail ID, and you are adding the date of birth here, everything, mobile and email also, and date of birth and year, everything will be added. So if I call this get other details, now you're passing the other number and it is giving the more information. As of now, we are just hard coding this value. In future, we will connect with the database and we'll get the details and we will display it or we will send to the front end layer. Now, if you see, it is overriding with the existing functionality. Hope you understood with the real-time scenario what method overriding will do. So method overriding is a mechanism of like calling the or overriding the new method or function, whatever the function that we have to call from the child class. So that is how method overriding will works. Clear? Now, couple of interview questions that we are going to cover. So, can we override the static method? First, an important thing, can we override the static method? Can we override the static method? Now I'm changing public static void. And here I'm writing static. Right? So now if I'm run and see what will happen. What we have understood here, we can override the static methods. Okay, and the second scenario, can we override the final methods? now I'm changing this as a final, and I'm writing here same method name, and it is erroring out, and it is saying that you cannot override the static methods. You cannot override the static methods. Sorry, final methods. Let me add the final. When I add the final keyword, what is telling? You cannot override the final methods. Once you declare a method as a final, that implementation also final, you cannot modify the implementation. So that is called the final, right? So this is the interview questions basically they will ask, right? And let me take something as we discussed in the first class. We'll have the main method. So main method cannot be override because each and every class will have the same method. When I run this class, this will by defaultly execute the content that was present here, right? So this is also cannot be possible. Only static methods can be override. So this is all about the overriding, how overriding will work and where to apply the overriding. Hope this is clear.